Welcome back to a new one. So we are reacting to 17 huge details in the Stranger Things 4 finale and season 5 theories. So 17 details. And yeah, I thought it was Easter eggs, but these are details. Let's get it.
About Vecna and the Mind Flayer to a bombshell ending for Eleven and the gang, the final volume of Stranger Things Season 4 has finally arrived. Yippee-ki-yay, movie lovers, I'm Jan, and in this video I'm explaining the big season finale, revealing some hidden secrets you might have missed, and what to expect in Season 5. Spoilers ahead, of course, so take care. At the end of Season 4, during his villain's monologue, Vecna reveals he's been the evil mastermind behind everything all along. After Eleven sent one into the Upside Down, he explored the new world and eventually came across a massive unformed particles.
Like I said in the last video, Vecna created the Mind Flayer, which is cool that they might tease it, but they might have Will and the Mind Flayer going against Vecna and Max. They might. Potentially. I don't know.
Using his powers, he shaped these into a giant spider form, the Mind Flayer, basing the monster's look on the Black Widow spiders he so admired as a child.
I saw a means to realize my potential to transcend my human form.
In fact, the young Henry Creel already had a vision for the monster he would go on to create many years later, and his drawing is uncannily similar to the one that Will made in Season 2. This makes sense because we now know that the Mind Flayer was invented by one, and he was therefore controlling Will at that moment. Back in the Upside Down, Vecna had to wait for Eleven to eventually open up a gate again to the real world, which she did accidentally when she first made contact with a Demogorgon in Season 1. But because Elle fought back each time and closed Vecna's access to the world in the first 2 seasons, he decided on a plan to take Eleven's portal opening powers for himself in Season 3.
I sought a means to open my own doors. I sought your power.
He achieved this through the spider monster, which attacked Eleven and took her powers, which were in turn transferred to Vecna, who used them to begin opening gates between the Upside Down and Hawkins in Season 4 whenever he made a kill. Vecna's plan was to open 4 gates by killing 4 teens, something hinted at through his clock, which always chimed 4 times whenever it appeared to one of his intended victims. The significance of the number 4 might also be a reference to the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, which certainly seems appropriate given the way the final season ends after the 4 gates have been opened. And notice how in Volume 1, the clocks at both Hawkins' lab and the Creel house were at 3 o'clock at critical moments, a clue to the 3 victims that Vecna had claimed by the end of the first part of the season. The Hawkins crew themselves come up with a 4-phase plan they hope will defeat Vecna. The problem being that as good as it might have been, he already knew what they had planned. By appearing to Max as a vision of an angry Lucas, Vecna traps her in a twisted version of what should be a happy memory for her of the snowball dance at the end of Season 2. There was some ominous foreshadowing of this moment in the way that Season 2 ended, with the camera flipping over to a shot of the shadow monster watching over the ball in the Upside Down. Vecna then throws Max across the room and pins her against a wall, just like Eleven did to him in the Hawkins lab and to the Demogorgon in the school. However, when Eleven manages to break into Max's nightmare, she propels Vecna into the air, twisting him around and curling her fingers and wrist, similar to what he did to her years earlier in the lab. Vecna quickly recovers from this and overpowers Eleven, sending her into his mindscape and trapping her with his vines. This is exactly what Brenner warned Eleven about when he said that she wasn't strong enough to confront Vecna so quickly after regaining her powers, and that she needed to learn more.
If you want to stop one, you will need to do more than run. You will need to fly.
At that moment, Eleven wanted to leave immediately to help her friends, who she knew were in danger in Hawkins, something very reminiscent of how Luke Skywalker wanted to leave his training with Yoda early to go and help Leia and Han Solo in The Empire Strikes Back. And there's also shades of Palpatine in Vecna, when he tells Eleven he wants her to watch him execute his evil plan, similar to how the Emperor tells Luke to watch while he destroys the rebellion.
I want you to watch.
You will witness the end of your insignificant rebellion.
At this point, Vecna has broken
don't
Eleven's
watch Star
will,
Wars.
and it's not until Mike tells her how much he loves her that Vecna's vines shrink away and she frees herself. Similar to how Max needed happy memories to escape Vecna's grip previously, Mike's heartfelt words are what Elle needs to break free. The moment calls back to Will's painting, where he explained to Mike that because he's the one who leads the group, he has a coat of arms with a heart on it, as he's the one who holds everyone together.
Without heart, we'd all fall apart, even Elle.
By the way, in season 1, after Will went missing, Mike was browsing some similar paintings of Will and the D&D crew going up against a dragon. Another interesting detail about Will's painting is that when he shows it to Mike, he claims that Eleven asked him to draw it.
Did you paint this? Yeah, I mean, Elle asked me to. She commissioned it, basically. She told me what to draw.
But this doesn't match Elle's voiceover in the first episode.
Will is painting a lot, but he won't show me what he's working on.
It's possible Will is embarrassed to tell Mike why he really drew the painting, so he's pretending Elle asked him to do it instead. The combined might of Eleven pinning Vecna in his mindscape, Murray flaming the Demogorgons in Russia, and Stephen Robin's use of Molotov cocktails weakens the villain to the point that Nancy can finish him off with some close-range gunshots. This sends him flying through the Creel house attic window to the ground below, where he appears to be defeated. However, when they go downstairs, his body has disappeared. This moment is a homage to Michael Myers in the first Halloween movie, where after being shot and falling off a balcony, he appeared to be dead on the ground below. However, moments later his body disappeared, proving the villain was still alive. There were also a few other Halloween references in Volume 2, such as the way Vecna moves his head just before his confrontation with Eleven, in a nod to Michael Myers' iconic head tilt, and Eddie, of course, donned a Michael Myers mask briefly as well. When Elle finally gets back to Hawkins, she goes to visit Max, who's now in a coma. The book Lucas reads to Max from is The Talisman by Stephen King and Peter Straub, a story in which the protagonist, whose mother is dying, travels into a parallel universe where twinners or doppelgangers of an individual also exist. Interestingly, The Talisman is also the Duffer Brothers and Steven Spielberg's next project with Netflix. Although Elle tries to go into the void to connect with Max, she gets no response. And I think Max's recovery could be contingent on Eleven's eventual victory over Vecna in Season 5. Notice how Max tells Lucas she can't see or feel anything after Vecna's attack.
When one kills, he consumes. He takes everything from his victims.
What? Why is the words after the or before the mouth?
Memories, their abilities.
So it may be that his
No, it's
defeat
not.
will somehow release Max's consciousness back to her, as there have already been numerous allusions and references to how Vecna absorbs his victims.
With each life I took, I grew stronger. They were becoming a part of me.
And the Coke bottle that Eleven finds under her bed at Hopper's old cabin is a callback to the time she spun the bottle with Max in Season 3 and used her abilities to remotely spy on what Mike and the other boys were doing and saying. The memory is especially sad for Elle because she knows that right now she can't reach Max even with her powers.
Yeah.
Of course, we have to talk about Eddie, who made the ultimate sacrifice this season. There were various clues earlier on to his fate, such as him talking...
Easily one of the most saddest deaths. The first season was his only appearance. Out of everyone else, they chose Eddie.
in the first episode about
I'm still salty.
how he'd finally graduate and hand over the reins of the Hellfire Club,
This year, it's my year. You boys, the future of Hellfire.
and how he kept pointing out he wasn't a hero.
I see danger and I just turn heel and run. There is no shame in running. Don't try to be heroes.
The even sadder thing is that Eddie is still being demonized and blamed for several murders in Hawkins by the media and the community. Fortunately, Dustin, who knows the truth, was at least able to tell Eddie's uncle that he died a hero saving the town. As for 11, she got an emotional reunion with her dad in his cabin and noticed how she was still keeping her door open a few inches, just like she did in the opening episode of season 4.
Door open 3 inches.
And in the very
That part was sad, but when she brought that up, I laughed. The damn TV won't play.
final scene, Will reveals he knows Vecna is still alive through the connection he still has with the Mind Flayer.
I can still remember what he thinks and how he thinks, and he's not going to stop. Not until he's taken everything and everyone.
And the hairs on the back of his neck stand up just before that final shot, revealing that the Upside Down has truly broken through to the real world.
See, this is what I can't wait to see. Okay, so here's my theory. Vecna is going to bring back or heal everything that the Stranger Things cast killed. Mike, Lucas, Dustin, Will, 11, Max, like the whole 9 yards. Vecna is going to heal everything, bring them back, and have a huge war. So Vecna will have an army, 11 will be powerful and have all of her powers back and possibly even new powers. And then we'll see the epic finale of Vecna and his army against the whole entire gang. That's my theory. And if it actually happens, I'm going to be happy.
The flowers in this field are rotting away, similar to how a pumpkin field began to decay after the Upside Down's tunnels reached them in Season 2. You can also see the Upside Down's characteristic red lightning flashing over here, where the main breach appears to have occurred. This basically confirms the vision Vecna gave to Nancy about what was to come.
Downtown on fire, dead soldiers, this giant creature with a gaping mouth. There were so many monsters, an army.
It sounds like in Season 5 we could get a huge new monster and a slew of other Upside Down creatures. Nancy's comments about her family, including Mike, also sound very ominous.
He showed me my mom, Holly, Mike. We were all...
And as powerful as 11 is, I don't think she can take on a whole army from the Upside Down, which means I think she'll need to do something on a different level to defeat Vecna. One possible hint is this curious moment where Nancy points out Argyle picking some mushrooms in the woods just outside the cabin. Some mushroom varieties can have hallucinogenic effects, and there could be a possible connection here to lucid dreaming, potentially a different way for 11 to battle with Vecna on a psychic level. Another possibility, given all of the Back to the Future references in the series, is that 11 will perform some kind of time travel, perhaps to stop Henry turning into a villain in the first place. And there's a big clue to why I think that's happening in Season 5 in Nancy's vision that Vecna gave her of the future. But just before I get to that, I want to thank the sponsor of this video, NordVPN. Like the government agents in Stranger Things who listen in...
I don't care nothing about the sponsor.
Go to the link in the video description to get the offer, or use coupon code FLIX when you check out. Now, if you watch extra slowly the vision Vecna gives to Nancy while she's in his grip, there are not only shots of the gates opening and ripping through Hawkins, but there's also a shot of the grandfather clock from the Creel house winding backwards, similar to what we saw during the reveal about young Henry Creel in the 7th episode. I think the way the hands move in reverse in both of these scenes, together with numerous other time-related Easter eggs.
Now, there are theories about her, the counselor, or whatever she plays. There are theories that she is connected with Vecna, because if anyone remembers, when Max goes to visit her, if you can hear that, that's my dog coming in my room. What are you doing? What you doing? Anyway, she has a clock, and it's in the shape of a key. And Vecna's clock has a keyhole on top of it. So possibly she has a key that could go anti the clock and stop whatever's happening. Or even team up with Vecna and have a whole army against the gang. That's the theory that's been going around since the season 4 has came out. Let's see if it's true.
Eggs are a big clue to time travel being part of season 5, something I discuss in a lot more detail in my time travel theory video. You can tap here to watch that or follow the link in the video description. So movie lovers, what do you think about the ending of season 4? And
the ending of season 4. 1, stupid, because they killed Eddie. 2, I nearly thought that they were going to kill Max, so that scared the crap out of me. But mainly, the whole thing itself, 10 out of 10. At first, I didn't I liked it, but it was too creepy. And I mean, they warned us before it came out that it was going to be darker than the rest of the seasons. So, they were right. It's darker, it's creepier. I didn't like how creepy it was, so I wouldn't really, I was interested, but, y'all understand. But, 10 out of 10, the whole thing's 10 out of 10. As soon as you understand what's happening, 10 out of 10. Whole thing's amazing. So, and everyone, hope you enjoy this video. I might make one more video about this Stranger Things stuff, or I might not. I don't know. I'll think about it. But smash that like button and subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.